The day my son's chaotic girlfriend finally won me over, I was convinced my son Leo was making a huge mistake. Leo was in law school, strictly buttoned up and super type A. And then he brought home Zoe. Zoe was, well, she was a lot. She wore paint-splattered vintage overalls, had bright pink hair, and said the word vibe at least 10 times an hour. I was polite, but honestly, I gave the relationship 6 months tops. I figured she was just a phase, so I kept my distance, giving tight little smiles while completely writing her off. Then came the great Thanksgiving blizzard. Leo drove out into the snow to grab extra firewood, leaving me stranded in the living room, alone with Zoe. The silence was absolutely deafening. I stared out the living room window, silently praying for Leo's return, while Zoe nervously fiddled with her rings. After what felt like hours, she sighed, reached into her massive tote bag, and pulled out a dented metal thermos. "So," she whispered, sounding incredibly hesitant, Do you like spiked apple cider?" I blinked. She looked absolutely terrified of me. For some reason, I said yes. We sat there, sipping our warm mugs in awkward silence, until she suddenly blurted out how she actually met Leo. She told me my serious, ultra-focused son tried to impress her at a retro roller rink and ended up crashing straight into the snack bar, taking down an entire display of hot cheese and nachos. I tried to hold it in, but I snorted, a real ugly snort. Before I knew it, I was telling her about the time I tried to impress my husband with a fancy homemade dinner and accidentally set the oven mitts on fire. We kept drinking that cider, and the stories just kept flowing. I realized Zoe wasn't flighty at all. She ran a successful boutique, and most importantly, she made my son genuinely happy. By the time Leo finally walked through the front door, shivering and covered in snow, Zoe and I were crying with laughter on the rug, doing terrible impressions of his stuffy law professors. He just stood in the doorway, completely bewildered. That was the exact moment she stopped being a phase and finally became family.